How we doing, YouTube? You good? You fine? I certainly hope so. Welcome back to the channel. If you are one of our already existing people, if not, then welcome to the channel. Consider staying. We stream, we play games. It's usually good fun. But that's not the purpose of this video. The purpose of this video is we are going to be talking about, for lack of a better term, the standard of gaming at the moment. There's a few things that we want to cover, right? And we're going to be covering them. And it's basically ranging on where certain games are, gaming as a whole, what we are currently used to, which is not really a good thing. What is coming up in the future that, to me, as someone who's been doing this for quite a while, is actually really quite exciting. We're going to start with the gigantic military elephant in the room, which is Call of Duty. Multiplayer games are kind of just now. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're actually like a huge staple of gaming, and I got nothing against people playing FPS games. I actually really like shooters. I really enjoy them. And the standard of what you're working with has been consistent, shall we say? It's been consistently shit, but it's been consistent. And I will preface all of this. I hold nothing against developers. It's a hard job, and gamers are just fucking feral nowadays. It doesn't matter what you produce, it's going to be shit to players. They're going to find something to complain about. They're going to find something to just be like, nah, he says, making an entire video about it. But Call of Duty has just been recycling the same stuff, and they focused onto microtransactions, and then they straight up have ignored multiplayer. And it's all Warzone. Which is unfortunate, because as someone who actually kind of enjoys playing multiplayer, it's good fun to play. It's good fun to play with your friends. It's what it should be. It's what gaming should be. It should be a pastime that you can jump onto something for a couple hours, mess about with your friends, whatever. But there seems to be this big shift in multiplayer stuff to full-on competitiveness. Full-on competitiveness. If you're not first, then get good, scrub. If you aren't doing a battle royale and you're finishing like 15 to 20 kills, well, get fucked. That's the standard of shooter multiplayers these days, and it shouldn't be. The essence of gaming is that you have fun playing it. You have fun playing with your friends, and I appreciate that, you know, for some people that's not their idea of fun, and there's nothing wrong with that. You play other games. But that's what gaming should be. There's a couple things that I blame for this. One is slightly ironic. The others, wholeheartedly not. And we'll start with the wholeheartedly not one, which is hackers. Hackers ruin everything for everyone. Because you can't just jump on and play with your friends and mess about, because you've got someone that's going to see you through a wall. You've got someone who's going to aimbot you. You've got someone who just becomes a spinning Beyblade of death with a sniper rifle and is popping you from fuck knows where. Valorant's anti-cheat system. I really do appreciate that one. That if you're caught hacking, you're bricking your PC for that game. Ricochet, on the other hand, is not that good. The fact that when the beta came out for Modern Warfare 2, there was already hacker sites advertising the fact that their hacks were going to work on day one. That ruins it for everyone. It doesn't matter what it is. It ruins it. And tied into that, here's the ironic one, is streamers and things have an essence of responsibility. Not directly, but there's an essence of responsibility of streamers and content creation that is the reason that multiplayer stuff has not got the same fun that it used to. Now, if you're like me, who is 30 now, maybe your late 20s, early 30s, that's your kind of time frame. Let's say from like 25 to 35, 40. The days of Modern Warfare 2, the original Black Ops, like, these are the games that are always thrown around wildly for people. And with that, it creates this nostalgia of what Call of Duty used to be. And people might be like, well, that's not what the games are nowadays, so we'll stop bringing them up. But they were the good games. At least through the view of nostalgia, they were the good games. And the reason that they were so good is because you just played them. You weren't trying to be the best. You weren't going on to Twitch or YouTube or Facebook or nowadays Kick, and trying to be the top streamer by going, I've got a insert impressive KD here. You weren't going like, look at this insane shot that I can pull off with my eyes shut, one hand tied behind my back, playing with my feet. Let me see how impressive I can do this one. What run can I do with this? I've got X amount of kills. Or making videos trying to do the same thing, so everyone then sees it that's coming up and thinks, I can also do that. So everyone then tries to do content creation. And because everyone's trying to do content creation, it just creates more and more competitiveness. And at that point, the fun is gone because you now have to sweat your balls off in every game you play. And if you don't, then you're not winning. So single player is very much one that it's going towards. At least for me, I'm leaning towards it. Single player or cooperative multiplayer things. Diablo, for example. Me and Steve have been putting a lot of hours into Diablo. And it's good. It's fun. There's a PvP element, but you can just turn around and go, nah. And that's it. Great. There seemed to be, I can't remember which person it was. There was a CEO somewhere of someone who turned around and went, you know what gamers want? They don't want single players. We don't. That's exactly what we want. Gamers don't want just mindless, repetitive shooters crammed down our throat year after year after year. Not what we want. We just want a good game. As I said before, gaming is essentially fun. That's what it should be. And that's what you want gaming to be. Gaming should be a fun pastime, or even better, it's a fun way to make a career. Again, the irony of me saying what I just did when I'm trying to also be a content creator. Gaming has been a core part of my life for 25 years. I wish I was joking with that. Fuck, I'm old. Anyway, 25 years I've been doing this. I've played through games that were on MS-DOS on PC, Windows 95, up to the stuff that you have nowadays. And the thing that gamers want, the primary thing that gamers want, is the game to be fun and enjoyable. Are the graphics important? No. Do they help? They can do. Is the story important? In the right game, yes. Does Call of Duty need a story? Not really. Does an RPG need a story? Yes. Do gamers need, big open worlds? Well, not really. And that seems to be, for example, the direction that Rockstar is going. Look how massive our world is. It's fantastic. Don't you love it? That's a lot of travel for me to go through nothing to get from one place to another. Why do I need to spend the next 20 fucking minutes just to get to my objective? Why is that a thing? You can't think that this is a good idea. We just want something that's got good gameplay. That's it. Terraria, Minecraft. These are two games that people go, it's amazing. This could be some of the most fun that you've had. And they look like something that you could be playing on an actual potato. Like a potato PC from like 2000 could still run these. And you wouldn't care. A lot of what people seem to be seeing or expecting from games nowadays are expecting almost every game to have some sort of improvement. Something groundbreaking. Every new game has to have this technological advancement. It's like, that's not how tech works. That's not how design works. I don't even do gaming design, and I'm pretty sure that's not how gaming design works. And if you look at Jedi Survivor, right, which we played because we're horror for Star Wars games, in the build-up to it, they were talking about they were dropping the PS4 and the Xbox One because that was the previous generation. So the Series X and the PS5 are still going to get the game, and obviously PC, because the technology that existed in the game that they were putting in, it couldn't function on the previous generation. And they basically were like, well, at this point, if you don't have one of the new consoles, tough. Alright, it's a fair enough business point. It has been a few years, and it's holding back what they can do. And when you actually see the game, you know what? It was pretty. It was nice. They clearly made full use of everything that existed that was available to them to make this game. They had this beautiful game that was using like your ray tracing, your RTX scaling stuff, like everything visually they could cram into it. They did. And it was kind of unnecessary. being honest, it wasn't really necessary, right? All that ended up doing was taking up 120 gig of my hard drive for 3 days before I finished the game and moved on, because there's no replayability in that game whatsoever. It was a story, and it was a good story with a. It was a good twist. It did some stuff. It was fun. The combat was good. There's just no replayability behind that game. So 120 gig for 3 days. It's then like at a AAA price. I appreciate the technology that you put into that game, and it showed. It had a lot of problems for a lot of people. You've created something that's got all this technology in it, but most people who are running on a budget don't have the technology to then make use of it. You see where there's a problem. But it leads us into kind of some of the advancements that I'm excited for, that I'm looking forward to. So there's a few games that are going to be coming out later this year that we've taken time off work because we fully intend on making use of them. The 3 of them are Starfield, which has obviously been released by Bethesda, Payday 3, which has been done by Starbreeze, and Baldur's Gate 3. Those are the 3 games that we're very excited for later in the year. Now we're going to start with Starfield, in that they have basically created this massive open world, all these things. I'm apprehensive about Starfield, but still excited for it. Fallout 76, again, ignoring it, but just touching the fact that multiplayer, it didn't work. But Bethesda's very good at doing single player games, right? The Fallout series is really good. The Elder Scrolls series is really good. They're good at making single player games. Something on the scale of what Starfield is going to be, right? All these planets, all these things, all this wide open space that you're going to be going for, flying through, whee! Great. Fantastic. There's 1,000 planets going to be in this game. The reports are coming out that it is only 10% of them will have life on them. That's still 100 planets, in case you suck at maths like I do. That's a decent amount, right? It doesn't matter what you are. That's 100 planets that you're still going to have stuff to do on. And the others are going to have been, like, mined or colonized and then, like, abandoned, or I don't know. There's going to be something. There's going to be things to keep you entertained. However, when you think Bethesda, you think of the legendary quote from Todd Howard of, "It just works." Well, it fucking doesn't half the time. My horse should not be in the sky. People should not cut through walls. I shouldn't touch a car and fall and die. Do you see the problem? In something like this big grand scale, there's a lot of room for things to be interesting. A lot of things to be interesting, if we're being completely honest. But the game itself, because it's this wide, grand scale, can either be amazing or it can be No Man's Sky. Because I'm such a big fan of RPGs, Starfield is one that I'm going to play. Right? There's no doubt about it. And Baldur's Gate 3 is another one that I'm very excited for. Now, we missed the chance to be able to play the early access. The original Baldur's Gate came out several years ago. It's of its time. It's a D&D game. You play your party, go through, graphically it's all there. But it's a story. It's a story because it's a D&D thing. It was very, very good. The gameplay was good. It just ruled things out. We're taking a comparison between that to now, just as an insight into the technological advancements that companies are starting to produce. Larian is doing an incredible job with their thing, right? If you haven't played Divinity 2, highly recommend it. It's a great game. Very well designed, and Larian did amazing with it. And they have near tripled their staff that they've now got for Baldur's Gate 3. And one of the things that they have made this major improvement on is Baldur's Gate, the city, that's what it's called, that's what it's named after, the game. Baldur's Gate is a big city. It's a major city. And in the original one, it was so big that it was divided up into like 5 different sections that you could only visit a small portion of it. And it didn't have an awful lot in it. Baldur's Gate 3, they just announced a few weeks ago, they released a video on YouTube, you can go look it up yourself, that the entire city is open. The technology exists nowadays that they can have an actual breathing, living city so many people that you can go and talk to, that you can go and interact with, as well as just freely moving throughout the entire city. You don't need to wait on loading screens. You don't need to do any of that. That is irrelevant to any processing power that your computer has. That is how the game is designed. And that takes us a step closer to games basically creating this living, breathing world. Game is still getting closer to a full living world, which is kind of exciting. As an example on some slightly different stuff, going to Payday 3. Payday 3 we're very excited for. We played Payday 2 and loved it. But it's co-op shooter. Do some heists, get some money, get things to do, harder heists and whatnot. It's a fun game. It's basically just taking on AI. But Payday 2 came out in 2013, right? 10 years of content they were releasing. They were releasing DLCs, new heists, new characters, new weapons, constantly. And one of the things that we kind of noticed when we went back and played it is graphically it was starting to lag a little bit. And not in anything that was still unplayable, just it was a bit blurry, and the art style kind of messed me up a little bit. But there were systems that were aging. You could see the game was older, but it was still successful. Payday 3 is going to be released later this year, September 21st, I believe is the release date. And as a build-up and a promotion for it, Starbreeze are doing their own series on YouTube where they are basically doing like developer diaries. And they released one just earlier today, which is talking about the combat. They've redesigned some of the AI. They've redesigned how the whole system works because they can do that now. And for me, one of the most important changes, right? Again, it's showing that advancement in technology that we as gamers are looking for. Doesn't have to be all the time. Just show that the stuff that we love, the things that we do as a hobby, are improving. And one of the enemies that you can face in Payday 3 is Shield. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's a guy with a riot shield. And he's got a little pistol. And you have all the others around, but there's that. They would usually run in pairs, and they were kind of annoying, but they didn't do a huge amount of damage. What they've done now is they've tweaked the AI system so that rather than a shield being any threat by themselves, they're a threat with others. The AI will move towards a shield and use that as a cover to advance on you. Not just the shield itself. The other units will move to it. You're able to interact more with hostages now, which was not a thing that they had. The cloakers, I think is what they're called. If they find some of your deployables lying around, they'll destroy them if you're not around. They've changed how the AI works and how they react to what you do. So we're getting advancement in AI mechanics. We're getting advancements in graphics. We're getting advancements in open world stuff. Companies are trying. Companies are doing well. And when you give them the time, they are going to produce good stuff for us. And, you know, Baldur's Gate 3 has been in development for a few years. As I said, Payday 2 was a 10-year-old game. They've also been developing 3, and now they're going to be able to release it. When they're given time, they can do well with it. Gaming companies don't get the opportunity to finish the games to the standard they want. And it's the developers that actually take the brunt of it. It's not the shareholders who have demanded it. It's the folk that are designing the game that get the death threats because, you know, those people are assholes. You know, my game's not come out in time. Let me threaten the developers' lives. Yeah, alright, that makes sense. But you should have given it more time. It's clearly not ready. This game's trash. You know what? Go fuck yourself. I want a refund. A lot of the developers are gamers themselves. Battlefront is a really good example of that as well. Right? DICE developed Battlefront 2. Battlefront 2 was a huge amount of fun. Because it's a Star Wars game, got it on release. And it was fun to play. But loot boxes in a AAA title, characters not being available unless you pay for them, that doesn't scream like something a development studio would do. It does sound like something a publisher would do. Ain't that right, EA? And because it was such a bad thing with loot boxes, and they removed it almost immediately, but it broke the progression of the game because it was ingrained into the progression. They had to fix that. The developers, the people who actually made that game, came out saying, we're really disappointed that no one's talking about the game, they're only talking about the loot boxes, because we were really proud of this. It's like, you know what? You should have been. That was a good game. And I don't believe you would have wanted to put that in. There's a lot of things that are causing this very interesting direction for games to go. And you can see the developers who, if you just go look up on YouTube, Larian Studios for Baldur's Gate 3. Look at them talking about what they've done for Baldur's Gate 3. Look at Starbreeze and what they've done for Payday 3. You can see the developers are excited for what they make. It's on either shareholders or it's on, you know, influencers or whatever, content creators, potentially turning things onto it because they don't agree with how a game is gone. But multiplayer stuff, the standard of that has been slipping for a long time, and it's because of the competitiveness that exists in this field, the field that we're doing right now. Single player stuff doesn't have the same thing, and you can see the technological advancements that we all want to see. We want to see our games getting better, not necessarily take up our entire hard drive. We want the games to be better. We want the games to be more fun. I'm very excited for Payday 3. I'm very excited for Baldur's Gate. The AI system means that the enemies are going to be more reactive, more responsive to what we're dealing with. Baldur's Gate just looks like it's going to be an amazing RPG that reports are saying it's going to take you 200 hours to complete the story. Never mind all the side quests and stuff you're going to have, all the choices you can make, all the different play styles you can have. The replayability in that is going to be just insane. Like, my god. Anyway, I've rambled enough. If you like what you see, like, subscribe, tell me if you're excited, tell me if there's any games, things you agree, disagree with, all that deal, and come back and hang out with us. We're going to be playing all these. So until then, you have a good one. I'll see you later.